Oh, I guess I should get Lama's. Or Mala. You have your Mala?
I have my long one.
Yes, your Mala. You can use that, or you can use a short one. It's up to you. If you're just still trying to get used to your long one. Yeah. I mean, if you want to get used to your long one, you can just do quarter Mala counts. I'm sure the teacher will guide you.
No, I'm just going to point and laugh.
Oh, I'm going to start with the round one this time.
That sounds like things you hear at speed dating. Yeah, I'm tired of these neurotic fitness buffs. I want me Mr. Roly-Poly. I want some cushion for the cushion. I don't know what that means. Why did you even say that, Gail?
I've been hanging around a long crowd. Ooh, now you get to look spooky.
Spooky llama. Woo. Oh, wait. How about this? Patricia, do you remember SCTV? 3D. Of course, Patricia, your microphone is off, and she's gone now. Well done.
Wrong button.
Okay, Patricia, you are back.
Oh, there you are.
Here I are.
I updated the Zoom thingy, and now it's all weird.
Yes, welcome to our brave new world. This is exactly what Adellis Huxley was talking about.
Exactly.
Okay, we've got in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Just luxuriate.
Just luxuriate.
Luxuriate.
Wow, that was exciting.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. So did you have fun walking home last Tuesday with all the trick-or-treaters?
Mm-hmm.
We never made it over to see the other side of the street.
Oh, you didn't see the Trump?
No.
I have pictures. I keep forgetting to send it to you. From last year and this year.
Well, I'm going to do some light calisthenics just to get my body all comfortable. Yes, I'm going to break dance.
Okay.
This
looks like Karate Kid.
Oh, my adoring fans.
It used to be a Darby groupie until we were in a car crash.
Oh no, you were in the car crash?
Yeah, last summer. And my kidneys in my arms. So,
oh no.
So a lot better, but no more headstands or handstands for me for a while.
Frozen shoulder lasted for a long time.
I had a chiropractor actually manipulate it. Yeah, it was fast. I went to one twice and he did something I don't know what it was.
No. Okay. Yes, it's DEFCON 1.
Patricia's now deaf.
Yes, the audience is now deaf.
What?
What? Yeah.
All right. So, let's see. Patricia, would you please mute your microphone? And did you hit the mute button on your keyboard? Yeah. Beauty. Okay. So, if anyone has any questions about last week's meditation practice, this would be a great time to ask. Pat, if you have a question, just unmute your microphone and speak forth.
Well, as you know, tomorrow is the big day.
Yes.
My tooth extracted, and I'm naturally anxious about it.
Okay.
I'm also really wanting it gone, so I'm looking forward to it being over too. My question is, while I'm in the dental chair, will it be possible for me to silently meditate, or am I going to be in too much pain to care?
There's no such thing as too much pain to meditate for one who's been meditating for 12 years.
Yeah, I feel that.
You know, you can be in horrendous pain and still be meditating. You know,
I've done that, yeah.
so you can do it. Which actually leads us into, so I'm going to ask you to mute your microphone, and I'm going to go straight into a lecture replete with notes, because nothing's too good for my students. Okay. But I want to answer this and let's get this. I want to download this question before it evaporates. So we have had, this is the 5th class. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first lesson began with the wild world of literal contemplations. Specifically, superficial ones. That's not superficial, but tonight we're going to pretend that is superficial. Well, this is weird. Okay, 1 space. Okay, over. Good. So the first class, it was superficial. The second class, we added to our repertoire with depth. Now, tonight when we go through practice, I'll point these out. In our third class, we began working with figurative contemplations. Specifically, we did similes. Oh my goodness, I spelled it right. What was that?
I wouldn't have.
Now, last week, which was the 4th week, we introduced metaphors. This week, we're throwing in an extra dose of similes, double dose of similes. And the fifth portion of tonight's contrived contemplations will consist of metaphors. Now, the difference between last week's class and this week's class is a second helping of similes. Now, by way of pop quiz, I'm going to ask for a volunteer. Anyone at all. Anyone who speaks Tagalog. Anyone.
Oh my gosh. I choke when I'm asked questions.
Because you are a poised contemplative and you can handle all things, just like the unsinkable Molly Brown. Now, I've talked that mental training is a lot like the pendulum of a grandfather clock, going back and forth. And on one end of the swing, we have contemplation, which is contrived. Here comes the pop quiz. At the other end of the swing, we have what?
Oh, what's that word?
Oh, second favorite RN in the room.
She's just, respiratory therapy.
Oh, I thought you were an RN.
No, respiratory.
You're an RT.
Yes.
Okay, that's Russia Today. Now I'm going to tell. So, okay, so forgive me for calling you something you're not. So, enough of that. We have contrived contemplation, and at the other end we have
I'm so sorry.
That's okay, because Patricia has the right answer, and she's going to tell us right now. But only after she unmutes her microphone. Okay, lay it on us.
Contrived contemplation.
Okay, is your microphone anywhere near your mouth, Pat?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, well, let's see. I'm having trouble hearing you.
Does that help?
That helps incredibly. Well done. Okay, so we have the metaphor of the grandfather clock and the pendulum. Pendulum swings one way. That's contrived contemplation. It swings the other way. And what's it called, Pat?
Trek show or the silent contemplations?
No, ma'am. Okay.
What's your name?
Yes, Vivian Gale Gillett. Please tell me, if one end of the arc of the pendulum is contrived contemplation, what is the other end of the arc? Spontaneous what? Ding, 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 ding! We have a wiener. Well done. Okay, Pat, please mute your microphone.
What was the answer again, Lama Jigme? I didn't hear.
It was spontaneous meditation.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just a big dummy. I knew that.
What was that?
I said I knew that.
You were just testing. Gotcha. Well, thanks for the pop quiz. Okay, so we've got contrived contemplations. We've got spontaneous meditation. Now, a nickname for spontaneous meditation. By the way, show of hands, is anyone warm in here, or is it just me? Okay.
She's warm.
Are you warm?
I'm getting there, yeah.
Well, would you mind opening the door?
Sure.
Thank you. Beauty. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Are you going to be too cold? Okay. So, one of the nicknames for spontaneous meditation is resting in the nature of mind. Now, typically, for our first daily practice in the morning, after we've gone to the bathroom, after we've gone potty and brushed our teeth, and we pad out to wherever we meditate, we've just emerged out of an 8-hour nap. So the need for relaxing into the nature of mind is not very strong. So of course we start with our contrived contemplations. and then we rest in spontaneous meditation, and we go back and forth. Now, towards the end of the day, it's conceivably possible that your brain's exhausted, that you are ripe for resting in the nature of mind. So if that's the case, you could go straight to spontaneous meditation for as long as it's comfortable to do so. Then once you become, bored, then that's your indication that your mind is shifted from a peaceful mode to a playful mode. And therefore, that since it's in a playful mode, can access the contrived contemplations. The reason I'm telling you this, Fath, is not to confuse you, but to remind you that these techniques are not intended to be a cage, a prison, shackles that confine and limit you. They're supposed to be tools that empower you. Now, just as I would imagine our respiratory therapist has several tools at her disposal, and she uses the specific adaptation of the specific tool that's appropriate for the specific hour that she's dealing with a patient, because the patient, at 1 hour might have different needs than a few hours later. And it has been said that to the man armed only with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So one of the fringe benefits of these cycle, grammar Nazi, of this cycle of teachings, there we go, is that it gives you many tools to play with. Tools for when your mind is playful, tools for when your mind is peaceful. Superficial tools, deep tools, simile tools, metaphor tools. Wonderful bunch of tools. But sometimes all you need is to rest in meditation. Allow me to give you an example from my own life. This has to do with pain, Pat. One time, I love pad thai, but I had some bad pad thai, and I was in agony for about 14, maybe 16 hours, 14 hours, pretty close to 14 hours. And sharp, stabbing, relentless pain. And so all I could do was work with the pain. On the in-breath, I could notice, on the out-breath, I could relax. My goal was not to relax the pain away. The goal was to relax me away, to relax away my resistance to the pain. There was a wonderful science fiction novel written, I suspect, in the 70s by Frank, was it Hubert? And it was called Dune. And in it was the canticle against fear. And here's a paraphrase. I must not fear. Fear is the little death that brings obliteration. I will face my fear. I will let it pass through me and over me and around me. I will turn to see my fear is gone and only I remain. Likewise, sometimes we feel something so intense, whether it's an emotional pain or whether it's a physical pain, it isn't as if the pain passes, it is as if we pass, as if our body becomes ungraspable, as if our mind that notices our body becomes ungraspable. And all that remains is an infinite expanse, except in the center is the throbbing orb of pain. And if we're able to do that, then that is a success. We've been able to practice the mindfulness and notice the pain, be it physical or mental, and relax as best we can. Many, close to a millennium ago, a Tibetan saint wrote, and obviously this is a translation, these are the 10 things not to be abandoned. Since compassion is the root of benefit for others, do not abandon it. Since thoughts are the play, since appearances are the radiance of the mind, do not abandon them. So our job is not to be thoughtless. Our job is not to turn off our five senses. Au contraire, notice the hell out of them, whether they're pleasurable or whether they're painful. Let's continue. Since thoughts are the play of of wisdom, do not abandon them. Since afflictions are serve to reveal wisdom, do not abandon them. Well, how? How do afflictions reveal wisdom? Well, here's the funny thing. Let's pretend, Oy vey! Yes, I'm coming out with a banana. Shit. Okay, not a banana. A bell. Okay, I'm come here with my bell. And at the top of the bell, you can notice these 4 points. One here, 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 and there. And a central shaft. So technically 5 prongs. What could those 5 prongs represent? They could represent the 5 poisons. This is trivia. It's not important. Don't commit this to memory yet, unless, of course, you do this for a decade. Then commit everything to memory. So the 5 poisons, archetypically, could be described as hate, greed, befuddlement, jealousy, and pride. Now, you'll notice that at the top, you got the 5 prongs. At the bottom, make sure it's on the camera, you've got a bell. And isn't that a lovely one? With that bell, right now, here's the funny thing about the bell. You hear it first, it's quite loud. And at the very present moment, it gets fainter and fainter until the tone of the bell is nothing more than a memory. And that serves to remind us that impermanence reminds us. The impermanence of all things, beings, and phenomena can remind us of their inherent non-graspability. One moment they're vivid, next moment they're fading, next moment they're barely remembered. So, back to the 5 poisons. When we notice hate and then relax on the out-breath, that can reveal mirror-like wisdom. When we notice our spontaneously occurring greed, and on the out-breath we relax, that can give birth to our experience of discriminating wisdom, being able to tell the difference between good and bad, which is useful. When we spontaneously notice befuddlement on the in-breath, that's mindfulness. And on the out-breath, when we relax, that can give birth to the wisdom of the basic space of phenomena. When we notice the spontaneously occurring jealousy in our in-breath, and during the out-breath, we skillfully relax. That gives birth to the all-accomplishing wisdom. When, during the in-breath, we notice a spontaneous occurrence of pride, of self-importance, of self-infatuation. Who can forget the African-American singer from the 60s? Male, he would sing, "Get up, get on up, get on the scene," like Sex Machine. Who's that? Who sang that? James Brown. Somebody's go, "Kiss myself, yeah." That's a wonderful lampoon of self-infatuation. We all are prone to it, all of us. When it happens, we do not ignore it, we do not justify it, we do not minimize it, we do not rationalize it, we do not tell a story about it. We notice it on the in-breath, on the out-breath. What do? Relax, yes. And that gives birth to equalizing wisdom. So those 5 wisdoms are not the antidotes to the 5 afflictions. There's only one antidote to the 5 afflictions. That is relaxing. So whatever befalls us can benefit us if we put it through the coffee grinder, the old-fashioned coffee grinder with a crank that you've seen in Westerns. That is mindfulness and insight, or noticing and relaxing. Allow me to continue. Since desirable things are the water and manure of experience and realization, do not abandon them. So many people say, well, something's pleasurable, pleasure is bad, I don't want to feel pleasure. No. In the Tantric path, we embrace everything, pleasurable or painful, and find a way to benefit from it. Of course, spoiler alert, the way to benefit from it is by practicing what? Noticing and letting go.
So is relaxing the same as letting go?
Yes, we let go by relaxing. Excellent question. Gold star for you. Right there. Did you feel it from across the room? The gold star of love? Okay. Oh, yeah. Dignity. I got it. Since sickness and suffering are teachers, do not abandon them. I prefer the teachers of bliss and health. But when something beats the hell out of us, it can serve us as long as we put it through the mill. Since enemies and obstructions or the exhortation of wisdom, do not abandon them. If they disappear spontaneously, however, that is an accomplishment. Do not reject that. And there's the irony there. Sometimes we're so used to suffering, and when our suffering fades, we like, oh, my mindfulness has failed. No. That's a good thing. It's always a nice thing when suffering fades. But let it fade by its own on its own accord. Just don't shove it. It's like I once had a friend who had a very cranky wife, and there was a cat, an outside cat, who ran in the house, saw the cranky wife, and promptly ran under the sofa. And the cranky wife was trying to get the cat out from under the sofa so she could shoo it out the back door. And her plan to do this was to use a broom. Shove a broom under the sofa, screaming at the cat, all the while wondering why it wasn't working. So her husband lovingly patted her on the shoulders, removed the broom, put it back in the corner, had her have a seat on, the easy chair, brought out a can of cat food, opened it up, and as soon as the cat heard that, of its own accord, it pranced out and into the kitchen, as if to say, "You may feed me, minion." So, rather than using violence on ourselves to chase away physical discomforts or emotional discomforts, we can work with it in a skillful, wise, liberating way. Since the path of method is always a support for the path of knowledge, do not abandon it. In other words, both compassion and wisdom are useful. Both mindfulness and insight are useful. No one is better than the other. We need, just as a seagull needs both his left and right wings to ascend to the skies, we need both mindfulness and insight. Do not abandon physical dharma practices that you can accomplish. Do not abandon the intention to benefit others, even though you may have little ability. These are the 10 things not to be abandoned. So, Pat, is it going to suck In the dentist's office, yes. Yes, it will. When you get there, they will make you wait. And they will regale you with old magazines no longer relevant, if ever they were. If they give you a painkiller, which they probably will, they'll first begin by putting a topical, what's it called?
Anesthetic.
Anesthetic on your feet and on your gums, and then they'll stick you with a what's it called? A syringe. Then it'll feel like your gums are full of fluid. Yucky. And so there will be 1,000 annoyances tomorrow. It's just gonna suck. It's just this way around it. You're gonna be, metaphorically speaking, eating a doggy doo sandwich. Yum yum. Be sure to use mouthwash afterward. So go there with the full knowledge. Don't be shocked. Things are going to be less than perfect in every conceivable facet. That's grist for the mill. So you already know what to do. So in this, to quote Shakespeare, this hurly-burly of, that's from Macbeth, in this hurly-burly of annoyances, you will not need contemplation. Your mind is going to be really wee! And so it'll be the most skillful thing for you to do will be treksha, slicing through meditation. In other words, relaxing into the nature of mind, noticing and relaxing. You can start off with 3-syllable meditation. Notice this, relaxing. You can, and if you feel something glaring like pain or fear or anger, or you can call that rage, just substitute the word this for that. So, notice rage, relaxing. Notice pain, relaxing. Notice fear, relaxing. And when they stop being 10s, they become 8s or 7s. Then just go back to the pronoun. Notice this, relaxing. It's going to be exhausting. You're probably going to need a nap when you get home.
Oh yeah, I've already got that planned.
Okay, so do you feel that answered your question?
Yes, actually it did. It really did, because
Good.
I know it's gonna hurt, and I want to meditate through it, and I want to do it well. And when it's notice relaxing and I feel that pull, I'm going to think I've noticed enough.
What was that?
I've noticed enough after he pulls that tooth.
The nice thing is, noticing will not be
it won't be a problem.
Yeah, you never have to notice pain. You never have to work to notice pain. A strong sensation or a strong emotion just steps forward and volunteers.
Oh yeah.
Okay, the lovely respiratory therapist over there. Yes, you had a question.
Oh, on my way here, I remember the red TAM. What does it stand for again?
That's an excellent question. In this system, the syllable TAM symbolizes the enlightened mind of a Buddha, which is both loving, which has both mastered love and also mastered letting go, and all that entails.
Have that on the notes.
Huh?
Can we have that on our notes?
Sure.
Somehow?
Well, it's actually already in the text.
Oh, it is?
It's already in the text. It's in small print, but that's why it's, and by the way, once again, I'll refresh your memory. The best way to work with the text, by the way, that you can download from Buddha Joy onto your smartphone is download it as to your notepad. And then from your notepad to your free Kindle app. If you do that, that's how the text was optimized for that procedure. It works best that way. And when you see something written in ridiculously small font, you can just enlarge the screen with 2 fingers. You can't do it with 1 finger. Just flicking off the screen won't work. I know, I've tried. You have to use 2 fingers. Okay, so having said that, in conclusion, in the mornings, you want to go back and forth like a ping pong ball between contrived contemplation and spontaneous meditation. As the day evolves, you may need less contemplation, you may need more meditation, you may think you don't need any contemplation. You start off meditating and then halfway through you get bored, then you can go back and hit the contemplations. The contemplations are not a chore, they're a tool. So what I recommend is in the morning, do all the contemplations that were assigned to you that week. In the evening, that's pretty much free skate. And if you, that begs the question, how do I know I'm doing it right? How can I keep from making a mistake? I'm scared of making a mistake, to which I would respond, don't be scared. It's a certainty. You will make mistakes. Just learn from them. This is like everything else in life, it's fluid, flexible, and always changing, and you'll make yourself dizzy looking for too many rules of thumbs. It's less analytical and more visceral. One of the key teachings of the Tao Te Ching is to move from our little mind in our head to our big mind in our belly. In other words, the purpose of our analytical faculties is not to be our boss, but to be our servant. So if we try living in our head, we're making our analytical capabilities, our faculties, our Lord, our King, our Master. But if we live in our belly from a place of centered spontaneity, our analytical capabilities will flow naturally, spontaneously, unimpeded. Like what some people call being in the zone. It's not an absence of intellect, it's an harmonization of intellect. There was an episode of Third Rock from the Sun when Sally wanted to become the Supreme Commander, and when finally the Supreme Commander went missing, she was stymied and she couldn't do anything, and her minions had to take over. Do you remember that? That's like the prefrontal cortex. It's an excellent minion, but it's a poor high commander. Having said that, I've spent 34 minutes flapping my gums, and I don't want it to exhaust anyone. So let's quickly take a stretch, get up, make your limbs feel better. Let's resume in 3 minutes.
Oh. Meditation for those over 50.
Yeah, over 50.
Is that a zombie horde or an over 50 meditation class?
Yeah, right.
I need to go through.
Yeah, the hip flexors get a little bit pissed off
Yeah.
after sitting for a long time. We were in the park on Sunday because we're doing that Sunday. And after an hour, it was really funny because nobody else was there. It was just the 2 of us. And because I could do an hour and then I have to move because the other my hips bother. So I just rolled down and did like an up dog. Like yoga meditation. Yeah. That's great.
You see, at the Roy Patricia Cancer Center there,
Yeah.
they have meditation classes, and a friend of mine does acupuncture there
Oh, really?
for $40. Really, really inexpensive.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that. I know they have yoga
massage.
and meditation.
Yeah,
They have
Qigong.
massage. Really?
Yeah.
Is that available to everybody?
Yeah.
Oh.
My old patients or new patients who want to see me, I just tell them to go there.
Oh, okay.
But I do get Chinese massage dentistry.
Have
Have you
you
ever
really?
been to 5-star? $25. It's so good.
I think I may have. I don't know. I have a massage therapist in North Hollywood that I go to. I started seeing her after the crash. And she knows my problems. Okay.
Oy vey!
Friday. I was married to a Jew.
Oh, really? He was a Jewish
Yes.
chiropractor?
No.
Yeah, he was a chiropractor.
No, he was a businessman.
Oh, okay.
Another Jewish best friend, the chiropractor, yes. A lot of Jews in my life.
Yes.
But I call him Jewish.
Well, you have to say, you can never know too many, especially at sex time. So, I was talking about that the chiropractor was a former husband. Oh, he was a
No.
former sweetheart.
No, he's just a very good friend.
Gotcha.
He was married when I met him, and then he got divorced.
So you were divorce buddies, went through divorce together?
No, he was first. He should have been divorced before me, though.
It's so for some people it's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough to extricate oneself.
So by the time he got divorced, it was
Been there, done that.
bad.
Okay.
You too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's do some meditation. Now so technically there's nothing new in today's manual, today's PDF, I hope you will download it's the 5th lesson. There's nothing new in it. It's just, let me rephrase that. There's no new contemplations in it. There are no new meditations. However, there's a more simplified finger strategy which may make your life easier. Having said that, it is our second link. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let us begin with the triplet chant. Lama, perfect protector, who is the centered spontaneous mind, neither getting nor keeping, the desired as well as enduring, the disliked is universal. Be it causes, conditions, components, or conceptions, independence is but an illusion. Ever changing, one and all, there is nothing permanent to grasp. Whoops! Where did the page go? It is extremely important to make the most of these freedoms and opportunities. Remembering this may my mind ever notice relax and flow. And let's use the triplet chant. Non-violently, oopsie, let's try that again. The bookend chant. Okay. Non-violently, I practice mindfulness inside as well as love, and apply teachers' advice that all beings may benefit. All right. Notice on the top, instead of having a choice of 3, there's, come on now, there we go. There's just one finger gesture. Now you'll notice on the left, there's a 12. Why is it there? Gail, can you remember the page number 6 for me? At the very end, you'll know on the second to last page is the chart of death. If you have a printer at home, you can print that out, put that bad boy on your wall. So we just had 12, and here's 12 right here. And it fits into a system. And hopefully this will make it easier to understand. And you'll notice on this page that there is a repeating pattern of mutable, fixed, cardinal, all the way up. Mutable fixed cardinal, mutable fixed cardinal, mutable fixed cardinal, mutable fixed cardinal. Gail, which of the two hands correlates to mutable?
Which of the two hands?
Yes.
The left.
Yes, Veth. Which of the two hands correlates to the cardinal? This is easy.
I think both.
No, it's
Right.
the right. Okay, Pat, which of the two hands correlates to fixed?
Both.
Yes. And that'll make things easier when you see the pattern evolving. Oh, mutable, fixed, cardinal. Left, both, right. Left, both, right. Left, both, right. I can see a pattern emerging. That will help you define the subtle pattern in the overt chaos. The second pattern you'll find is a flow of 4 elements: water, air, earth, fire. Not 5, like acupuncture, just 4. And that too repeats 3 times. I've said all that so that here, back on page 6, when we see, oh, look, we're dealing with our left, that'll probably be mutable. So let's do that right now. Let's touch our left middle finger to its thumb. What do you do with the right hand? Make a flipper. This, in some systems, is said to correlate with our feet. And this is kind of like a basket with many archetypes within it. The label on the outside of the basket would be surrendered sagehood. Let's perform the silent contemplation for 1 breath. Om Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam. 3 breaths. Om Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam. Om Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam. Om Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam. Well, let's return to the 1 breath practice. Neighbors. Om Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam. Earthlings. Om Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam. Each being of each world. Om Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam. Now what I'd like to do is just skip ahead to the 7 contemplations of dissolution. On the second thought, that really won't work out as nicely as, well, darn it, that'll have to work. Okay. Om Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam Nanenam Zawam. 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 Om Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam. And by the way, here's a quick reminder that Tom down here correlates to mind. Om Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam. Om Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam. Okay, so for the remainder of tonight's practice, let's just work with relaxing into the resting in the nature of mind. And look, there's that phrase right here. In Tibetan, this is called the Trekcho. I call it, Trekcho can be translated as the slicing through, but that's kind of cryptic. So now we are going to use a different hand gesture. Let's touch each index finger to its thumb. Because it's both, it'll be fixed. It relates to our calves. And the label on this basket of archetypes would be laid back intelligent philanthropy, which is completely different than predatory capitalism. I'm going to create a crisis for you, and then I'll help you fix that crisis with a high interest loan. How's that sound? Which causes the rest of the world to give us the one finger salute, and then we wonder why we have terrorists. Okay, so we'll do this for approximately 14 breaths. Om Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam. 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 Those 14 breaths sure flew by, didn't they? So I'm going to jump ahead to the second to the last page. That's not it. There we go. That's much better. Not sure if this is going to work as smoothly as I'd like it to. Okay. Let's touch the tip of our right ring finger to its thumb. With our left hand, let's make a flipper. I'll relax into the awareness of this. Om Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam. Om Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam. Om Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam. Please touch the tip of your left little finger to its thumb. With your right hand, make a flipper. Now relax into the awareness of this. Om Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam. Om Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam. Om Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam Narinam Zoam. Please touch each middle finger to its thumb. This corresponds to the groin. Anyone here has a background in Kundalini Yoga, this might create some familiar sensations. So relax into the awareness of this. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Now we tap into our kidneys by touching the tip of our right index finger to its thumb. With our left hand, we make a flipper. Looks like I'm doing a mysterious dance, isn't it? Oh my goodness, I'm voguing. How? That dates me. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Now turn our attention to our guts. Please touch the tip of your left ring finger to its thumb. With your right hand, make a flipper. Now relax into the awareness of this. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. I think it's really interesting that our guts are related to mutable earth because a euphemism for poop back in England, back in the 1800s, was night soil. The archetypes associated with this body part and with this elemental permutation is a meticulous and considerate. And some people consider that weakness, and I'm not trying to be funny, it takes guts to be considerate. It takes a special type of enthusiasm to practice meticulousness. Performed in a centered, spontaneous way, these are powerful, powerful tools. When practiced in an off-centered way, like anything else, it can be destructive. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Let's teach. Let's try that again. Take two. Let's touch each little finger to its thumb. This relates to the heart. It's called fixed fire. And it really increases charisma. You might want to play with this for 5 minutes before your teach tomorrow, and just notice if you're more playful and more relaxed. Even more playful and relaxed. Huh?
Kick me out.
Oh, clearly, yes. They love you there.
I'm already too playful. But I'll try.
Okay. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa, Om Nani Nam Zuwa. Please touch the right middle finger to the thumb. That's cardinal water because it's the right hand. Left hand makes a flipper. So This is the archetypical mother, so we will call it the mother hen. So right to the stomach, when birds feed their young, they regurgitate, they vomit into their children's gaping maws. Oh, the beauty of nature. Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa. Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa. Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa. And you may notice, because you're very intelligent, that upon each set of 3 archetypes, it says root, then trunk, and then branches, and then leaves. That is simply a visualization to help organize the 4 sets of 3 and how they are ascending. You never want to do it descending. You never want to do it at random. This is the most empowering sequence. Start with the roots and work up to the leaves. I don't know why. It's just consistently beneficial. We're going to access beautiful air, playful creativity. If you have a lunch break, do you have a lunch break halfway through your class tomorrow? Okay, after the lunch break, you may want to play with touching your tip of your left index finger to its thumb. Right hand's a flipper. And that'll make you very creative, which will probably be really appreciated after lunch when everyone's full of, junk food and bad clams. Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa. Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa. Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa. Patricia, there may come a point tomorrow when you are not feeling terrible amount of pain and your brain's tired. And it's like, maybe it gets restless and bored. Then do some contemplations. And then at a certain point, it'd be like, I can't do any more contemplations. Then go back to resting the mind. Let's touch each ring finger to its thumb, fixed earth at the throat, the affluent, stubborn player. Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa. Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa. Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa, Om Dani Nam Zoa. We'll conclude by touching each little ring finger to its thumb. Okay, let's try that again. That was all weird. Let's touch each little finger to its thumb. There you go. That brings us up to the fontanelle, the crown of the head. What's the traditional name of the acupuncture point that corresponds with the fontanelle?
Dew 20. Dew 20.
Dew 20?
Mm-hmm.
What does dew translate as?
Dew governing vessel.
Oh, the governing vessel. Is there another name for it? Like the kidney point?
Chinese name? I don't.
Well, like the kidney point they call the bubbling well. And there's a place in the abdomen they call the Jade Palace. Is there a poetic name?
There is, but I can't remember right now.
Will you tell me next week?
Sure.
Thanks. It's so nice having an acupuncturist on call.
Half
That's right.
right now.
I don't understand that. How are you a half acupuncturist?
Well, I'm not practicing full time like I did.
Yes, but you are a educated woman.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. How relax into the awareness of this. By the way, you told me, I asked you this and you already told me the answer and I forgot. Is your favorite, and when it comes to acupuncture, is your favorite diagnostic modality tongue reading? Or pulse reading?
I think tongue is the easiest.
Cool. It's always fun. I've always had fun working with an acupuncturist, reading my tongue and telling me which I have an excess or a deficiency of, and just meditating on it for like 90 seconds and seeing if I can create a change. That, to me, that's fun. But I'm nerdy that way. Okay, so, wow, that is just too big. My eyes are exploding. Nobody was exploding ocular globes. Okay, here we go. We're going to use the bookend chant. May each being everywhere practice mindfulness inside and love, spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. Okay, Patricia, before I let you go, do you have any questions for me?
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay, they would love you in the Zendo. Nothing comes to mind. Be our teacher.
I tried Zen once. It made me crazy.
You are not in the minority. Okay. Gail, Vath, any questions? It's tough because I want to look at you and say, baby, darling, sweetheart. Terribly unprofessional.
What's your name?
It's like when a grandparent is scolding their children. Let's go through the entire list. Lexi, Ronnie, Hillary, I know who you are.
The dog's name.
Really?
Cat name.
Buffy. Okay, so thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Pat.
Bye-bye. Thank you for a wonderful class.
You are utterly welcome.
And I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday.
All right. See you.
Will there be another download update for this?
Every class, there's a fresh download.
Okay.
So just like clockwork. And by the way, while we're still plugged in, so on the Buddha Joy Meditation School website, you get there, you go to the first tab, drop-down menu, class downloads, you click that bad boy, and any hour now, it'll switch pages for us. And there it is, Red Tata's Cycle of Teachings, 5th lesson.
5th lesson, okay.
Alrighty, and of course, this will be, by the time you return from the dentist's office, this will have been uploaded to YouTube.
Okay.
Okay. Good night, Pat.
Good night.